Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Living life and living life successfully. Three things. This was the topic I spoke recently for 1 week. Living successfully means what? There has to be a perfect balance between the external prosperity as well as the inner peace. Many times we come across people walking the religious path. I will not call it as a spiritual path. Religious path need not be spiritual path. The religious path is a path where we find out somebody to talk and blame to. If you see, for example, our Shirdi Sai Baba, he was never appreciated when he was alive. Only last 7-8 years of his life, when the Bombayites went to Shirdi, they started publicizing. Before that, he was not appreciated. Now, you go there, a tremendous rush. Do you know the reason? It is easier to deal with the dead Mahatmas than the living one. Do you know why? Dead Mahatmas can be dictated. Baba, we have got this problem. Can we see that my daughter gets married at least once? Children get married, each one of them 3, 4 times. Please do something for me. Isn't it? So, such people who are following the so-called religious path, they want everything to happen without their efforts. And when something goes wrong, God is there to blame. So let us find out what exactly the whole phenomena is. See, whatever we have today is our own earnings of or from the past. Now this principle is told in our scriptures that whatever we have today is the result of our past karmas. Now the question is, what is the result of the karma? This is very important to understand life, living and living life successfully. 3 things. As a result of our past karma, we get only 2 things in this life. Either joy or sorrows. Karma phala, the result of karma, is not of any third kind. Either you get joys or you get sorrows. Now, to get joys and sorrows, external things are not necessarily responsible. There are people who have got lot of prosperity and they are happy. There are people who have got lot of prosperity and they are miserable. Similarly, there are people who have no prosperity yet they are happy, and there are people who have no prosperity and they are miserable. Therefore, for being miserable or happy, external circumstances contribute minimum. Then what is that? Because of which we are happy or miserable? This is where the principle of our earlier karma is brought into picture. Now the second aspect. The prosperity that we have in this world is not a result of our past karma. The success in this life is not because of the past karma. The success in the present life is only when you put forward efforts. See? This is very, very important principle. If we have something in our life as prosperity, put forward efforts, you will get. But the religious people always, instead of putting the efforts in the right direction, they will go to the stone people, stone age. Do you know the stone age people? Those who believe in stones. So they will have one stone for Mangal, another stone for Guru, third stone for the Shukra, fourth stone for that. And there are so many stones on their fingers. And my worries, I'll tell you where I get worried. The areas of my worries is very funny. I get worried when such people having so many anguthis. And I don't know why they call it anguthi. They never put it in angutha. So, they are putting so many rings. And when they have to take, if it is a Gujarati, take kadhi and impossible. You can't hold it, because of the stones it leaks out. Such stony people, they don't want to put efforts. See? Daiva Daiva Alasi Pukara. Those who are lazy, they get refuge in this. So two things we have seen. Material prosperity is the result of sincere hard work. And sincere hard work in the right direction. There are people who are sincere, work hardly, but in the wrong direction. They can't get anything. So, prosperity in our life is the result of hard work. Second thing, the joys and sorrows that we get in our life is the result of our earlier karma. Now the third thing, where do we experience joys and sorrows? In the money, in the house, or in our mind? We experience all the joys and sorrows in our mind. And what is the ultimate then? Ultimate is, as is the quality of our mind, so is the quality of our life. Therefore, the scientific approach to lead life is, live in the outer world in such a manner that the quality of your mind is not influenced, not destroyed. And when such a qualitative life is lived, then alone there is fulfillment in life. And therefore, how do we begin? So it is something like this. There are people who are very methodical, systematic. They don't have to be told. In one Gujarati house I had gone, and it was such a joy to go and see their house. When I went, the moment I entered, I said, hey, I want to see your whole house. Swamiji, please say whatever you like. And there used to be one elderly lady, and then the son and daughter-in-law and children, everybody in the house. Not only one like me, Ekameva Dvitiya. No, many of them. And I just wanted to see all the almiras I have opened. Everything in each almirah was so beautifully, neatly kept. Normally when you open the almirahs, Vishwarupa Darshan happens. Isn't it? And I was so surprised. All the towels kept in a proper way, shirts, underwears and saris, in every almirah without one exception. So I asked that Amma, I said, Amma, whom it concerns? So nobody, she didn't say that I have done. So her daughter said, Swamiji, my mother, she is very fanatic about it. Then I asked her, I said, Amma, when you do so many things, don't you get tired? I am telling you how to create quality mind. So she said, Swamiji, All these people are working people, they go to office and work. And I am whole day at home. If I keep myself busy, my mind remains occupied. An occupied mind is not a problematic mind. See? Why old people become problem to the young people? It is only because they have nothing to do. And therefore, we keep attention on the quality of the mind. Once we are aware of this fact, that the quality of our mind determines the quality of our life, then what will happen? It is something like those who are interested and aware of clean clothes, every time putting on very clean, neat, well-ironed clothes, will they go and sit anywhere? They will think twice whether this place is worth sitting or not. That is the purpose why people have newspaper in their hand. In Madhya Pradesh, once I was going somewhere and one newspaper wala, he was selling newspaper. He was not concerned about the news. He said, news makes no sense to me. I sell the newspaper because in the summer it is a fan. When you are going by the bus, you sit down the chair, put that, as an asana. If it is a very hot sun, it becomes your umbrella. Therefore, buy my newspaper. How true it is. So when we are concerned about the cleanliness of our clothes, we will not go and sit anywhere. In the same manner, if we are concerned about the purity, quality, beauty of our mind, our lifestyle will be different. See, this is very important. This question I had asked you and told you not to reply. Again I will ask you. And don't reply. How many of us have consciously put forward efforts in our life to see that our mind does not react, doesn't get disturbed, and remains peaceful and happy? We take the mind as if it is a place of all dirt. No, you have to work on that. Like, those people who become aware of their figure. Isn't it? 36, 24, 36. So if they have to maintain that statistics, how much effort they put? There is also statistics for maintaining the figure of mind. But how many of us have put forward efforts? And such people who have never worked on their mind, they have nothing but complaints. And then, for complaining, God has provided many avenues. First avenue is marriage. So husband gets a legal partner and the wife gets a legal partner. So they legally complain about each other. Friends, let us be very clear. We have to focus attention on the quality of our mind. And for that, the teacher yesterday started. First quality, abhayam. Second, sattva samshuddhihi. So abhayam, fearlessness we have seen. But today we will see sattva samshuddhihi. Sattva means what? See, in Sanskrit, those who have got time and inclination, please study Sanskrit. Because the real meaning of the original words can never be available in any translation. That is what I told you, my old friend, 90 not out. He told me last time, I probably told you. He said, Swamiji, I want to learn Sanskrit at the age of 80-85. I said, Sindhi bhai, 85, Sanskrit you want to study, what for? He said, Swamiji, I have heard that after death, if I go to heaven, in heaven they talk Sanskrit. So I want to learn. I said, look here, I am a software engineer. Software engineers believe only in options. I said, this is okay. If you go to heaven, you should know Sanskrit. But suppose you go to hell. He said, I know Sindhi. He doesn't have to do any effort. He is already prepared. So if you really want to enjoy the depth of our scriptures, spend some time learning Sanskrit. One example I will give. Sattva means what? This word we have heard 100 times. Tva is a suffix which brings something into manifestation. For example, Sat means Paramatma. Sat means absolute existence. Absolute existence, when it becomes manifest, that manifest absolute existence is called a Sattva. And that Sattva is called as our mind. So, our mind is essentially supremely divine. Now see what a change it will make in you. Our mind is supremely divine if it can be freed from the limitations of the duality or the sense of otherness. This is very deep. Be attentive. In deep sleep, our mind is enfolded. Like when we get up, we roll our bed. I am talking about the historical events. We roll our bed and keep it in one corner. Now the beds are always open, every time sleep. So, in deep sleep, we enfold our mind, and as a result of which, what is our experience? In deep sleep, our experience is homogeneous, undivided existence where the sense of otherness is not present. And because of this, we all have the experience of bliss and happiness. Then what happens? When the waking takes place, means what? When the pure consciousness breaks as if. You must have seen the sprouted grams or the pulses. When we keep them in the water and in a proper condition, it breaks open and one thing comes out which grows up as a plant, and other thing comes out which goes as the root system. In the same manner, when this consciousness in the deep sleep sprouts, the sense of otherness and the sense of I-ness is born. And the moment the sense of I-ness versus sense of otherness is born, this relative existence begins. And in this relative existence, nobody has ever attained absolute happiness. See? So, Sattva means consciousness with the sense of otherness. Now what we have to do? Sattva samshuddhihi. That mind where the sense of otherness is erased. Such a pure mind alone can have the experience of divine existence. Now understand this through some example. I see two children. One is my child, other is a public unlimited child. Now when I look at these two children, What is my perception? When I look at the public child, I have got all the philosophy. Parents should take care of the children, They should discipline them, It is very necessary. But these days, parents have become so irresponsible. When somebody else's child is there, I become a philosopher. And when my own child does all stupidities, then I am a philosopher. His foolishness is appreciated as his glory, is it not? Now what is the reason? Reason is, in case of my child, there is no sense of otherness. But in case of any other child, there is a sense of otherness. Friends, life is fulfilled when we are able to embrace the whole world as our own. This ability in our mind to include everything and exclude nothing is the ultimate purity. Unless this happens, we may have everything in this world and yet we will be lonely. Such lonely people, they have pets, dogs. This you can see in the Western world. I don't know, you must be knowing, in England, it is a welfare state. So everybody is looked after by the government. So even a beggar gets government allowance. And legally they are allowed to keep a dog to help themselves. So they get the dog's allowance also. And I have seen there are people so much dog oriented, not God oriented. Spelling ka farak hai. They are so much dog oriented, they are so sincere that I have read number of books when I went recently there. Yoga for dogs. And that they call it a doga. Can you imagine? Birthday celebration for the dogs. And they will nicely give bath and have nice bow and arrow. Everything. Now why they are doing this thing? Because loneliness. Friends, sattva samshuddhihi, the dignity and the beauty of human existence is ability to embrace the whole world as one's own expansion. Then only a great Mahatma is born. Therefore, purity of mind means this. Let us not find out the reason to reject and condemn anything or anybody in this world. Let us find out the reason to embrace and love everybody in this world. And this can be possible only under one condition. When our mind is pure. A pure mind is that mind which is able to see oneness in spite of the multiplicity. The goldsmith has a pure mind as regards the ornaments are concerned. He sees manyness of the ornaments, but he sees the one gold factor in everyone in the same manner. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi. The more and more we don't talk about differences, we don't support differences, we don't get involved in any kind of differences, then only our mind will become pure. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi. And when the mind becomes pure, we are able to see the world as it is. In Kathopanishad, this mantra comes. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashate. The divine presence is abundantly available in everything and being. Yet, it is not cognized by us. What is the reason? See, all the laws of nature are freely operating in this whole universe. But everybody is not able to cognize that law of nature. There is only one Newtonananda who can find out that this is the law of gravity. See? Now what is that? When the apple has fallen, if I was there, I would have taken nicely, cleaned it and eat. Why think? But there was a person who did not eat that. He started thinking. Because he has seen something different. That ability to go beyond the perception and come to the substratum is only in the pure mind. Therefore, our problem is when the God is everywhere, when so many Mahatmas are there, when our country is so much full of divine literature, why our country is like this? It's only because Sattva Samshuddhi is not there. Therefore, friends, do not underestimate the importance of purification of the mind. This is what happens with many people. They study Upanishad, they study Vedanta, they are professional satsangi, they can deliver wonderful lectures, but as regards their mind is concerned, they are the same problem. Something is mine, something is not mine, somebody is useful to me, then he is good, somebody is not useful to me, he is bad. Therefore, one principle I will tell you. Anybody in this world, not necessarily Mahatma, anybody who has anything to achieve in this world will relate to us only in terms of what he can get to attain his achievement. See? If I have to have a hospital, and now I have taken a big project, now I have to spend a lot of time, money, efforts. So anybody who will come and talk to me, do you think I will talk to him about Paramatma? Acha, Gupta ji, ai. You know, Gupta ji is a common noun. And this Gupta ji, why I picked up this name, you know, like Bhagwan Rajneesh has picked up Mullah Nasruddin, I like Gupta ji. And this Gupta ji I discovered in Jhumke Wali Bareilly, long time back, in 60s. Below a tree, there was a tea shop. And people were playing chess. One person sitting this side, other person sitting this side, and tea is being offered. And behind one man, there are about a dozen standing from above and the other person. And he was guiding. Are Gupta, घोड़े को चला. In Hindi, in UP they talk only in Hindi. घोड़े को चला. Then you do this, you do that. And that person was doing. And he won. When he won that game, he said, hey, who is that person who has been telling me so perfectly well? I want to know. He said, मैंने बताया. क्यों? He said, no, I want to know, how do you know that my name is Gupta? बोले, for every बेवकूफ I call him Gupta. Therefore, I like this word Gupta very much. So, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, purity of the mind, is the most important thing in life. And what is that purity? To accept, I am taking you step by step, to accept the world as it is. Let us be very clear. This world is created by God. God is a Gujarati fellow, God. This world is created by the God. And although He has created this world, he could not make everybody happy. So don't think that you can make everybody happy in this world. Then what is to be done? You remain happy. Ha ha! Simplest. Those who cannot keep themselves happy, can they make others happy? Think. Therefore, what is Sattva Samshuddhi? Sattva Samshuddhi is a technique, an approach to life by which you remain always happy. Not because, but in spite of everything around. All the great masters were happy people. You cannot imagine any great master and miserable. Because only in the pure heart alone the happiness can bubble out. And a happy person will never make anybody miserable. And a miserable person will never tolerate anybody happy. See how slowly we are going. So, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Keep eye on your own mind. The moment you get a little idea that you are going in depression, you are becoming angry, you are feeling lonely, immediately get out. Don't allow that mood to possess you. If there is nothing, go out in the rain, drench and come back. That is better. Rather than crying at home and then making the clothes wet. No, better go outside. Free mein pani mil raha. Therefore, Sattva Samshuddhi. And what I am telling you is not just imagination. Bhagavan Sri Krishna told us in 2nd chapter, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya upajayate prasanna chetaso yasho buddhi pari avatishtate. He who is of the cheerful disposition, he alone can think of God. A miserable person will think about misery. A husband will think about wife. A mother will think about children. See, politician will think about the people. And only a happy person can think about God. Therefore, friends, if you really want to make your life worth, this is the basic approach. Sattva Samshuddhi. The other principle I told you the other day, my principles are very strong. Many people get allergy, but I don't care. The principle is, he or she who becomes miserable because of anything or anybody is fool of the highest order. Don't cooperate with the miseries. Stand apart. Sattva Samshuddhi. Then, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi, third quality of the mind. Jnana and Yoga, two of them. Jnana means what? You know, the other day I was in England. We are having a meditation camp, retreat. A very nice group of people from all over England had come. About 25 to 30 of them. So after our, things, we used to have one time to go for a walk. So I used to go alone because the period was solitary walk. So nobody could join me. Swamiji, can I join with you for solitary walk? I said, hey, you are cutting great jokes. So once I was going and I saw one lady with a dog. So I, as a human being, wished her, hi, good morning. So I thought maybe that is a tradition in Europe or UK particularly, to have a snob on the face and dog in the hand. Then you belong to a cultured society. I said, hey, you can't defeat me. So I went ahead, and then again I was coming back. And she was playing with the dog, or the dog was playing with her, I don't know. Something was happening. And then when I came, I did not talk to her. I talked to her dog. The moment I started talking to that dog, she was so happy, honored. I said, what is this breed? Is it Murrah? Murrah is not the breed of the dog, I don't know. No. And she said some funny name. I said, oh, very good. Looks to be thoroughbred. Thoroughbred, I can tell you, 8 generations. I have got a complete pedigree chart. So we have jnanam about the pedigree of the dogs. But we have no pedigree. Think, friends, what is to be known must be known to us first. Is it worth knowing anything in this world, or it is not worth? That which is not worthy of knowing, we need not collect the garbage in our mind. See, about this I will tell you one example. There is a friend of mine, elderly person, and he saw me somewhere, and then he became a little close. He said, Swamiji, I want to talk to you something personally. I said, no, I don't talk my personal things to anybody. No. I want to tell you my things. I said, I am not interested in your things also. But I want to talk. I said, you go and talk in that corner and finish it up. Bring it out all there. I am not ready to listen. He said, why? I said, I don't collect garbage. As regards you are concerned, I accept you, I love you as you are. So where is the problem? So next day he came with a thick letter and gave me, and I was so happy. I thought there is a big bundle of notes inside. So I took one. And thereafter I opened it, a thick letter about 6-7 pages, and first thing, Swamiji, for God's sake, don't throw it away. Please read. I pray. I said, all right. I read. And in that, what was written? How bad he is. What all crimes he has done. What all dirty things he has done. How he has cheated the people. This is blah, blah, blah. Long thing, And at the end, Swamiji, now tell me. Yours faithfully. Next day, he came and asked, Swamiji, did you read? I said, yes. How do you like it? I said, the story was good. I said, look here. What is the need to carry this load of your past? Be very, very clear about this point. Neither carry the load of your past, nor gather the load of somebody else's past. Jnana vyavasthitihi. Vyavasthitihi, proper understanding. What we should know. That which is not worthy of knowing, just don't look into it. See, like when we are seeing TV, you go on playing with the channels, and sometimes some dirty thing comes. So what we will do? We don't want to say, what are those dirty things coming? Let us find out. No, there is no need. Just get away. See? This is the only way to live in this world. Jnana vyavasthitihi. Once in Vrindavan it happened, in the satsang of our Udiya Baba. One lady told him that, Baba, in the satsang when we come, there is one man who is constantly looking at me. So Baba just brushed it away, didn't talk. Again second day, you please tell him something. He is all the time looking at me continuously. I feel so uncomfortable. Baba asked her, how do you know that he is continuously looking at you unless you look at him continuously? See? Drop all these things. Don't give any importance to anything in this world except your peace of mind. Jnana vyavasthitihi. Now, the pure mind is that mind where the inquiry about something higher is naturally kindled. How do we know our mind is pure? When we want to know something more and more, higher and higher, then our heart is pure. Otherwise, the same routine things going on, same thing. Breakfast में क्या बनाया, lunch को क्या बनाया, dinner को क्या बनाएंगे, कल तो यही बनाया था, आज भी वही बनाया. Is there something more or not in life? So, jnana sthitihi. Then, yoga vyavasthitihi. Yoga is self-discipline. And self-discipline includes the holistic approach to life. Yoga should not be mistaken as only some acrobatic physical exercises to prove that I can also sit in this particular posture for 10 minutes more. If sitting only in one posture is a great thing, then the big rocks which are there for millions of years, they are better yogis. Therefore, yoga means perfect self-discipline. So, abhayam sattva samshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi. When this becomes the lifestyle, then you will see we have become now introvert. Introvertedness and depression, they look alike. Like the original flower and the plastic flowers, they look alike. In the same manner, if we are introvert, we are cheerful and happy. If we are depressed, we are miserable and make others also miserable. Jnana yoga vyavasthitihi. Then danam, the next quality. I am explaining every word with great emphasis and detailed exposition so that we must know what is happening inside. And these are the things worthy of knowing. And this all I learned from you all people. About Danam, I'll tell you. Once I was going from Ranchi to Calcutta by train, long time back. One person asked me this question in the morning. I was talking in Panchadashi class. Ranchi you may be knowing, if not, I'll tell you. Ranchi is known to be one of the biggest mental disorder center. Like we have Thane, Pune. In the northern India, it is Ranchi. So, one person asked me, Swamiji, you also have to go to Ranchi. Those who didn't know, they didn't laugh. But those who knew, they laughed. And so I told him, I said, look here. Yes, I had to go. When I stay with people like you, I am required to go now and there. So, I was going from Ranchi to Calcutta. Evening train, I got in my compartment, first class AC, no difficulty, no problem. And there was one man hanging around. 7 days he never spoke one word to me. But he was coming for all the lectures and standing quiet. So he came to the station also. I didn't know what is his name. He never spoke. Neither I asked. And then when I went inside my room, he came there. I said, Mahatma ji, are you coming with me to Calcutta? Very good. He said, no, Swamiji, I am not coming. And from his pocket, he took out 10,000 rupees bundle and just gave Swamiji. I said, why are you giving me like this, like a black money, ghus? Upar se do na. Many people have that habit. Swamiji, le le. Ghus de rahe ho kya? So I said, look here, I have got the ticket and somebody will pick me up, so I don't need this money. Take it back. I don't want. Swamiji, I am not giving you this because you want. I want to give you. See the difference? Danam, in the process of charity, it is our need. What is our need? ATG. No? ATG means what? The younger brother of Parle-G. Indians are so respectful that even that clause also is respected. Like, Mukherjee, Chatterjee, refugee, ATG, Parle-G, Anji. So, Danam is first principle. It is our necessity. See how important it is. Now, when I know that what I am talking to you in Prem Puri, it is not the necessity either of the Prem Puri Ashram Trust or all of you sitting here. You don't need, I know. Then why do you come? I need. If I don't have this attitude, what will happen? I will consider myself to be far superior than you, and ye, the children of sin, will be my language. Therefore, when we practice charity, danam, this should happen. That it is our need that we share with whatever we have. First principle. Second thing, the joy in giving is more than the joy in receiving. Those who have looked into their own mind, they will understand. The other day, I was going by flight somewhere, and that air hostess happened to know me. So she said, Swamiji, what can I get for you? I said, you get me the full packet of chocolates. Don't open it. They normally show 1, 1, 2, 2 chocolates. So she put the whole bag of chocolates, a complete thing, in that bag and signed for me. So when this was happening, there was other person sitting. Swamiji, wherever you go, you can manage the things. These air hostesses are difficult to deal with, and with you she is dealing as if she knows you. I said, yes, I know her. When she was a child of 10 years. Oh, that's why she has given you like that. Yes. Then she asked, what will you do with this? I said, I'll eat every chocolate. No, you can't eat like that. Then I said, I give to others. Why? Then I told her, look here. The joy that I got in getting those chocolates, if we evaluate it, if it is 1 kilogram of joy, the joy that I will get when I distribute it to the people. The real joy is in giving. Those who have understood this, they alone are purifying their mind. Now, second aspect of this dhanam or charity. Suppose I give him this book. Suppose I am not going to give. Suppose I give this book. Exactly what has happened. At this moment, before I give this book to him, this is my book. Is it not? So when I have given this book to him, the myness associated with the book is gone. The moment I reduce the load of myness, the moment I reduce the load of possessiveness from my mind becomes light. And that light mind alone has the light of wisdom. And therefore, it is for our benefit that we have to practice charity, dhanam. Now the third aspect. When we go to the Lord and offer something as a prasad, bhog. So when we go to the shop to buy the things, do we go and tell the shopkeeper, please give 1 kilo of prasad? No. There we go and ask for 1 kg of sweet meat. Then what we do? Thereafter, we bring it and give it to the Panditji in the temple. Panditji mercilessly opens that packing and takes out a sizable amount and puts 2 mungfali and 1 tulasi patra into that and gives back. After that is given back to us, what it is called as? Prasad. Now see the difference. We have purchased sweet meat, now it has become prasad. What is that technique which has converted a market thing called as a sweet meat into prasad? Now understand this. Very important. When we offer it to the Lord, so, O Lord, Tera Tujhko Arpan, we have offered to the Lord. So, the mamata or myness or possessiveness associated with that particular object is dropped. 1. And you know the tragedy of God. God doesn't accept anything. Why? Because He has never rejected anything. So when we offer the sweets to the Lord, we have given up our possessiveness. The Lord has not accepted it. Now where does it belong? It has become the purest object in the world. Because it is not associated with possessiveness on our part or possessiveness on the part of the Lord. Such a pure thing becomes prasad. And when we get this prasad, what is our attitude? We feel fulfilled. We feel that something great has happened to us. If this is understood with reference to the outer objects, now see what will happen inside. When we come to recognize that whatever we have, really do we deserve that what we have? Today in the morning class, one very beautiful thought came. According to the principle of karma, we are all the result of our past karma. According to the principle of devotion, we are all human beings because of God's grace, not because of karma. But my principle is third principle. It is neither the karma principle nor the devotion principle. My principle is, we are all human beings because of God's mistake. God has made many mistakes. And one of them is me. Whatever we have, is it really that we deserve? No. Think about it. Somebody is able to sing beautifully. Now that sweet voice, what is our contribution? Somebody is able to talk excellent. What is our contribution? Nothing. It is His will. That alone is functioning. When we become aware that whatever we have is for sharing with His creation, the net result will be our mind will remain always at peace and experience the positive joy of giving the things. And therefore, this is one of the most important things, that our mind is taken care of. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi danam, then damascha. Dama doesn't mean asthma. Because our South Indians, they always pronounce with akaranta. Like Krishna said to Arjuna. The Krishna was the name of Draupadi. Imagine Draupadi telling Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Will he ever listen? So, they say Dhamma. So, Dhamma is not Asthama. Dhamma means what? Control over our all faculties. A person who doesn't have self-control on his faculties, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, he cannot be included in the category of human beings. And when such a person is called as an animal, the animals went on strike. This comes in the writing of Bhartrihari. When a useless man doing nothing, only eating and sleeping, was abused by other person. You are worse than an animal. So all the animals went on strike. Don't insult us by equating him with us. Why? Because if he was to be an animal, he will eat the whole grass in the world and we will go without food. Therefore, Dhamma is self-control with reference to the faculties, senses, etc. Then Yajnascha, next point. Yajna means what? Yajna means there are many aspects. First aspect we will take one by one. First aspect. Yajna means reverting back to our natural state is called as Yajna. Take for example, when Bhagavan Sri Krishna told Arjuna in the 4th chapter, the Karma Yoga was explained by Bhagavan Sri Krishna as Yajna. Yajnathat karmanonyatra lokojam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. Hey Arjuna, function your life as a process of yajna, sacrifice. When this was said, Bhagavan told him, do you know my first disciple? My first disciple is Vivaswan, the Lord's son. Now what the Lord's son is doing? He is living the life of Yajna. And what is the life of Yajna? Whatever we are having, free distribution of all that we have is called as the Yajna. Now see, wherever anything in exchange is bartered, it is not yajna, it is only a bargain. See, I was in Kutch, Bhuj, and for my morning meditation class, there is to be quite a good number, about 100 people is to come. Second day or third day, one person came and he said, Swamiji, I want to suggest you something. I said, please suggest. You should take money from all these people who are attending the class. Because when you give anything free, it goes waste. I said, look here. I am so happy that you have pointed out my fault, my mistake. Now when you have pointed out fault and mistake, you must correct it also, is it not? He said, yes. Therefore I told you, I said, you have corrected incomplete. What is that? No, I have not collected from them 10 rupees per head per day. Never mind. Now what you can do, for last 2 days, 100 into 10 multiplied by 2, that much amount you give me from your side. On behalf of all of them. He said, Swamiji, you always cut jokes. I said, this time I am serious. I am not joking. He said, no. Unless you take money, people take it, as good for nothing. I said, look here. Here I am to learn and grow spiritually myself, or to make the people wise. Think. This divine knowledge, that has come to us, it has come from the Lord without taking one pie from us. And that knowledge we distribute, collecting funds and money. That is not yajna. Therefore, friends, yajna is that lifestyle where all the time, what do I get? What do I get? This thought doesn't come. There was a Sethji, very Kanjus. He went to a Mahatma and asked, Mahatma ji, everybody tells take Lord's name, take Lord's name. What will I get if I take Lord's name? So Mahatma ji was Pakkadarand. He said, Are Baniya, what will I get? This is the wrong question. If the Lord's name comes in your mouth, that is the highest gain of life. It is not the means, it is the end. See the difference. Therefore, it is extremely necessary for us to understand what is the meaning of yajna. Yajna is not making a hole in the soil and destroying the milk and the ghee. No. Yajna is the practice of this principle in our life. The first principle is, whatever we have, we must naturally distribute it to the world. Then alone we are leading our life in a yajna spirit. See? The money that we collect, whichever way, fair, unfair, above the table, below the table, through ATG or deta hai ki nahi, khandani, it doesn't make any difference. All that money can be with us only up to a particular limit. Beyond that, the same money becomes a problem for our existence. Earning money is a problem. Keeping money is more problem. And the real tragedy comes when giving money. I was in New York. One person, he asked me, Swamiji, I have given you some donation. I want to know what will you do. I said, I will have bidi, pan, tamaku. These are the three things I like very much. I take the bidi and put it into the tea, chai, and then I eat because I am a Bengali. Bengalis eat everything. No, don't tell jokes, tell me what will you do. I said, you are giving me to take account of my life, take that money back. I don't want your money. No, but even then I want to know. I said, okay, I'll tell you. So I told him something. I said, there are many institutions in India. With them, I am zero concern. But there are some small people who are teaching Vedas. 5, 6, 10 children are gathered by one old man in his own house. He hardly has any money. There are no big boards. There is no somebody coming with a camera and scissor to do inauguration. I find out all those people, and for the whole year, whatever expenses are required, if I have, I give and forget. That is what I do. Oh, that's a great job. I will give you more money. See? Friends, be a Punjabi. Neki kar, kuएं में डाल. Do good and forget about it. That is called as the life of yajna. All the time calculations is not life of yajna. Now second thing. Yajna means wherein we learn to live in a spirit of togetherness. So the yajna in the family, in the house will be what? Husband and wife are never equal. Then they are one. See? Never talk the language of equality between man and woman. This is one thing which ladies never understand. All the time talking about what way we are inferior. We should be equal to men. Don't get into that wrong line of thinking. You are one with your husband, not separate. But when we don't understand this, we feel that we are bound. You are not. So yajna is forgetting the differences, uniting together in a spirit of dedication to the common cause of peace in your own family. That is called as yajna life. Therefore, yajna has the second aspect. Now the third aspect of yajna. Yajna is a spirit with which we live every moment of our life. And that spirit can be kept alive when we understand yajna is a technique through which the divine is expressing in his full glory. So whenever our life is lived in the spirit of yajna, understand that time the divine is manifesting through us. Therefore, yajna is this spirit. Let us leave that. Recently in US, one lady asked me this question. They were having, jhagda between husband and wife. So she was asking, Swamiji, you people come and particularly I have seen you are biased in favor of the husbands, then you are against the ladies. I said, many have condemned me in this way, but I don't care. I know what I am. Then I told, what is your problem? Problem is, why don't you allow equality for the women like the men? I said, okay, I agree. Are you ready to listen to me? Yes. I said, equality means what? He will put on pant, shirt. What else beyond that can he go? You will start smoking, you start drinking, you start going to club, you will start having boyfriends. What more? You will go and work in the office, you will earn money. You want your own independence. What more that you have? Very good. Now suppose your husband also says, I also want to be equal to the woman. And you go for a marriage party. You dress like a man. And he dresses with a beautiful sari. Will you like to walk with your husband, decked with all the, in Western country they have started. They make their whole body holy and they put everything here and there and everything tattooed everywhere and nice sari and you go for the marriage. Will you like that? No. Therefore, yajna is a technique by which you sacrifice your individuality and unite so that you can grow. See? Then alone life is really lived. Friends, the other day one young couple got married. They asked me, Swamiji, please bless. I said, you are late. I would have told you before marriage something. Now what can I say? I can pray to the Lord. No. Do something. I said, look here now. If you really want. You never find out the reasons to fight. You find out the reasons, how much more I can give to him. And you try how much more you can give to her. You compete between yourself for the sake of sacrifice, not what do I get. Then see the beauty of life. Otherwise, every time I have done this thing, what he has done for me. Calculating, that is not yajna. Therefore, yajna, this is the spirit with which we live in this world. Then the mind becomes purer and purer. Yajna, other than this spirit, if you live off, life becomes a tragedy. Life becomes a great calamity that we live through. So, Danam, Damascha, Yajnascha, then Swadhyaya, next. These are all the disciplines for keeping our inner climate healthy. Swadhyaya. This Swadhyaya has to be understood in its wide range. We'll take one or two slowly. Swadhyaya means observing one's own mind is called as Swadhyaya. Swasya, our own, Adhyanam, observation. How is our mind when we are interacting with the world? Very important. Do we get angry every now and then? Do we get disgusted? Do we get depressed? Do we get moody? And if it is happening, the moment you become aware, then you will start working on that. See, many of us are not aware of the wrong thing that we do. I'll give an example. Once I was going from Coimbatore to Chennai, a small Dakota kind of flight, hardly 45 minutes flight. I got in my seat and there was some another Babaji. He saw me. अरे स्वामी जी इधर कैसे आ गए? मैं टपका आसमान से, किधर से ऐसे आ गए? आसमान से आया फरिश्ता. So, shall I sit near you? I said, sit. Whatever is your seat. His seat was somewhere other. He changed the seat and came and sat next to me. I said, Ram, Ram, Ram. And he started talking. Those who are giving lectures like me, they always talk loudly. They don't know that they are talking loudly. And he started talking something about his life, this, that. And he was talking so loudly. And the whole flight was calm and quiet. Only two noises, one that of the engine of that thing and the second this one. And one gentleman finally got up from his seat and he came and told that Swami, will you please shut up your mouth? Do you know how much loudly you are talking? Everybody is disgusted by you. Stop this nonsense. And he went back and sat. So he looked at me. And I looked outside. What is there to look at him now? And he kept quiet. And afterwards, when we got down, he said, Swamiji, these days, Mahatmas are not respected in this world. I said, Maharajji, you are elderly than me, what can I tell you? But what he said, was it wrong? Many times we are not aware that we are talking so loudly that others are disturbed because of our high pitch. We don't know in the same manner. We are not aware what are the negative points in our mind. Do we get reactionary? Do we get angry on small little things? Do we justify our anger? Do we get disturbed every now and then? Do we justify our being miserable? Are we becoming aware of that? See, one example I'll tell you about Swadhyaya and close. This I learned, I told you this example. This I learned from our Swami Akhandanand Maharaj. When I was young, I used to have that, spiritual dysentery. I want God realization. I can do anything, do this japa, nothing has happened. And one day when I saw him, so undisturbed by anything in the world, that day I dropped God, highlight and drop. And the only goal of my life became, remain undisturbed. May the whole world be on fire. Otherwise, I remember, once one person had his business partner from Switzerland, a Marwadi. And it was a very big deal going to be struck in millions of dollars. And he called me. And for the dinner, I didn't know all that. And then he said, you wanted to know something about India, Gita, here is our Swami, he is expert in that. So with all sincerity, I started talking to him about Gita. Every now and then he'll bring Bible in between. And those days I was a boiling brand. And once, twice, thrice I heard. And then I gave him left and right. And after all that heat was over, I came back to my place and then watching inside. That day I have decided, I am not in this world to justify or defend anything. Otherwise, small little thing, wow. See, that is not the way. Swadhyaya. Let us observe. All those negative points will disappear. Why they don't disappear? Because we are not aware about it. One day in a camp, I did this experiment. When I went, now I am not putting chandan because I have already developed natural spot now. So I don't require. So I put on chandan here and went. And when I went there, all the people were laughing. And hey, I said, don't laugh. Now I am here to tell you something serious. Again somebody will come. I said, what happened? Then one child told, Swamiji, your chandan has gone here, it is not here. Therefore you are looking funny. Then I said, look here, I know that. I just want to tell you, the moment I know that something is wrong with me, will I not correct? If this makeup, I am becoming so aware. Swadhyaya. The moment you become aware of your own mind's quality, it has to change. Other aspects we'll take tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.